Cassidy was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, of Irish ancestry, and raised in Philippi, West Virginia. In his youth, he was academically gifted and attended third grade at age 6. During his freshman year of high school, at age 11, he was on the football and basketball teams. After graduating from high school, Cassidy attended West Virginia Wesleyan College in Buckhannon, where he was a member of the Alpha Sigma Phi fraternity. He transferred to Stetson University in DeLand, Florida, where he played college basketball for the Hatters and was active in the student government. Cassidy graduated from Stetson University with a BA degree. Ted began his broadcast career at WCOA in Pensacola summer of 1958 through fall of 1959. He then moved on to work as a DJ on WFAA in Dallas. He was an accomplished musician and moonlighted playing an organ for patrons of a Luby's cafeteria in Dallas Lockwood Shopping Center. He was right in the middle of the excitement on the day John F. Kennedy was assassinated and was among the first to interview eyewitnesses W. E. Newman Jr. and Gail Newman. Cassidy's height gave him an advantage in auditioning for unusual character roles. His best-known role is Lurch on the Addams Family, in which he feigned playing the harpsichord, although he was in fact an accomplished organist. He also played the character named Thing, though associate producer Jack Voglin took on the role in scenes involving both characters. Though the character of Lurch was originally intended to be mute, Cassidy's ad-libbed, "You rang," in response to the butler call was an immediate hit. It became his signature line, and he was given more lines. Several episodes were written to feature Lurch. Cassidy reprised the role of Lurch in later appearances. In the Batman episode, The Penguin's Nest, 1966, he appears during the hero's familiar climbing scene up the side of a building, as a tenant who is playing the Addams Family theme on a harpsichord prior to sticking his head out of the window and speaking to Batman and Robin. He voiced Lurch in an episode of the new Scooby-Doo movies, 1972, and in the 1973 animated series adaptation of The Addams Family. He again reprised Lurch in the TV film Halloween with the New Addams Family, 1977. According to Thomas Duke Miller, a TV/movie/celebrity expert, Cassidy also had a small role opposite George Peppard in one episode of the TV movie series Banasek. Cassidy played a worker in an auto scrapyard who attempted to kill Banasek because the investigator was trying to get a conviction on the brother of Cassidy's character. In addition to The Addams Family, Cassidy found steady work in a variety of other television shows. He had a prominent role on NBC's The New Adventures of Huckleberry Finn as Injun Joe, the blood enemy of Tom Sawyer and Huck. In the 1967 The Man from UNCLE episode, The Napoleon's Tomb Affair, Cassidy played a henchman, Edgar, who kidnaps, tortures, and repeatedly tries to kill Napoleon and Ilya. Cassidy also provided the voices of the more aggressive version of Baylock in the Star Trek episode, The Corbomite Maneuver, and the Gorn in the episode, Arena, and played the part of the android Ruck in the episode, What Are Little Girls Made Of? Cassidy did more work with Star Trek creator Gene Roddenberry in the early 1970s, playing Isaiah in the post-apocalyptic drama pilots Genesis 2 and Planet Earth. In the Lost in Space episode, The Thief from Outer Space, he played the slave to the alien thief, Malachi Throne, who threatens the Robinsons. In the Beverly Hillbillies episode, The Dahlia Feud, from 1967, he played Mr. Ted, a large, muscular gardener who plants dahlias for Mrs. Drysdale. In 1968, Cassidy appeared on Mannix in the episode, To Kill a Writer, as Felipe Montoya, on Daniel Boone in The Scrimshaw Ivory Chart as a pirate named Gentle Sam, and in 2 episodes of I Dream of Jeannie as the master of Jeannie's devious sister in the episode, Jeannie, Who's Got the Genie? And Jeannie's cousin in the episode, Please Don't Feed the Astronauts. In the 2-part The $6 Million Man episode, The Return of Bigfoot, 1976, Cassidy provided the body and vocal effects of Bigfoot. The role was originally played by professional wrestler Andre the Giant in a previous 2-parter. Cassidy reprised the role in the 1977 episode, Bigfoot v. Cassidy also starred in Bonanza's Decision in Los Robles, in 1970. Concurrent with his appearances on The Addams Family, Cassidy began doing character voices on a recurring basis for the Hanna-Barbera studios, culminating in the role of Frankenstein Jr. in Frankenstein Jr. and the Impossible series, and even reprising Lurch on several occasions for Hanna-Barbera productions, most notably for the Addams Family animated series in 1973-74. He was the voice of Meteor Man in Birdman and the Galaxy Trio, as well as the hero in the Chuck Menville pixelated short film Blaze Glory, in which his already deep voice was enhanced with reverb echo to give the character an exaggerated superhero sound. Cassidy also voiced Ben Grimm, the Thing, in the new Fantastic Four. Cassidy went on to perform the roars and growls for Godzilla in the 1979 cartoon series that Hanna-Barbera co-produced with Toho, and was also the voice of Montaro in the Jana of the Jungle segments that accompanied Godzilla during its first network run. His voice was the basis for the sinister voice of Black Manta, as well as Brainiac and several others on Super Friends. Cassidy was the original voice of Molter and Metallus on Space Ghost from 1966 to 1968. Cassidy's final role was as King Thun of the Lion Men in the television animated feature film Flash Gordon, The Greatest Adventure of All. That particular role was originally recorded shortly before Cassidy's death in 1979, until the decision was made to use the footage for a television series, The New Adventures of Flash Gordon. As such, Cassidy's death necessitated his role being recast for the series with Alan Melvin. After the series' conclusion, the original feature film and soundtrack were reassembled using Cassidy's performance and broadcast in prime time in 1982. In live-action productions for the TV series The Incredible Hulk, he provided narration of the title sequence, and the Hulk's growls and roars. In deleted scenes from the original Battlestar Galactica TV pilot movie, Saga of a Star World, Cassidy can be heard providing temporary voice tracks of the silent Imperious leader, before actor Patrick McNay was contracted to voice the character. Other film work includes Butch Cassidy in The Sundance Kid, 1969, McKenna's Gold, 1969, The Limit, 1972, Banasek, 1972, Charcoal Black, 1972, The Slams, 1973, Thunder County, 1974, Poor Pretty Eddie, 1975, Harry and Walter Go to New York, 1976, the last remake of Beau Jest, 1977, and Goin' Coconuts, 1978. Alongside Michael Werner, he co-wrote the screenplay of 1973's The Harad Experiment, in which he made a brief appearance. During that time, he also worked with Noel Marshall, the executive producer of Harad Experiment, on the adventure comedy film Roar, released 2 years after his death. In 1965, he released a 7-inch vinyl record on Capitol Records with 2 songs on it, The Lurch, written by Gary S. Paxton, and Wesley, written by Cliffy Stone and Scott Turner. He introduced the dance and performed the song, The Lurch, on September 11, 1965, on Shivaree. And performed it again on Halloween of the same year on Shindig. Cassidy suffered from acromegaly, an endocrine disorder in which there is an overproduction of growth hormone from the pituitary gland that causes excessive bone growth in certain parts of the body. His health condition kept him from serious acting roles later in life. Cassidy underwent surgery at St. Vincent Medical Center in Los Angeles to have a benign tumor removed from his heart. Complications arose several days later while he was recuperating at home. He was readmitted to the same hospital, where he died on January 16, 1979, at the age of 46. He was cremated.